everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Today's episode is an exciting one because we are bringing together two dynamic founders who are redefining the innovations, intersections of education, technology, and career transformation. Our first guest is Gunjan, the visionary and forward-thinking founder of Techmatron. Gunjan has been at the forefront of building innovative education technology solutions that are transforming how institutions, educational and learners engage with knowledge. Through Techmatron, he's leveraging technology to make learning more accessible, intelligent, and impactful, ensuring that education evolves with the needs of the modern world. Joining him is Pooja Anandani, the dynamic and strategic founder of Resume. Pooja is widely recognized for her work in career positioning, personal branding, and professional transformation through Resume. She has helped countless students and professionals move beyond traditional resumes and build powerful professional identities that truly reflects their value and potential. So what makes today's conversation even more exciting is that Techmatron and Resume have recently come together as strategic partners. Technology-driven education with career redefine and professional positioning. This collaboration represents a powerful step forward, creating a future with learning is not just about acquiring knowledge but about building meaningful careers and lasting impact. Gunjan, Pooja, it's wonderful to have both of you here with us today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, first, Gunjan, to start off us, I would like to know that can you tell us the story behind the Techmatron and what inspired you to launch an education technology startup?
So the story of Techmatron is it started in 2021 in the UK. That was a company just formed around with many engineers. The Techmatron Courses came into existence fairly recently last year, and the whole idea behind that was to give students something which is very cost-effective, pocket-friendly, but at the same time it was mainly about getting a qualification where they could get CPD recognized, which is worldwide for the qualification, and at the same time they get an amazing internship or work placement after that.
So why Techmatron? I mean, why this name only? What's the story behind
There's a lot of story short. This was I was thinking about a name which was going to come into existence where technology is a key part of today's people's life, and I was thinking maybe we can have to be matron behind that. So when I was talking and scratching my head while I was driving a car, I just came up with the name Tech as technology and matron to go ahead in the industry where we can actually suffice many people all over the world.
Okay, that's great. So, Pooja, what inspired you to create a Resume and what gap did you see in how students and professional approaches their careers?
So, everyone faced the pandemic, and Resume is a pandemic baby. So, it started amidst the pandemic in October 2020, where I saw my friends getting lashed out. They had pay cuts, they were thrown out of their jobs, and they didn't know what to do. And I was just wondering, okay, touchwood, I'm doing very well. I've got a good paying job, and I'm at a high-end designation. But what's the value that I'm creating, That's when I sat down to myself one night, asking myself, can I do something better? Can I help people? And it just felt like a eureka moment, and that is when Resume was established in my brain, that let's create something that is going to be more meaningful for people to be able to create value, help them find career happiness. So, you don't hear the term career happiness. You say, I want a good job, I want a good package, but happiness is missing, right? So that is the ideology behind Resume, is to help people, help professionals starting from freshers to people with 40 plus years of work ex, to be able to find career happiness in their lives. Now, talking about the biggest gap that I saw is, there are talented professionals. but they don't know how to place themselves, right?
True.
So the lack of placement in the hierarchy series is so crazy that imagine a guy was supposed to be given a very good salary, but he had to settle at something so meager or poor because he didn't know how to strategically place himself. They underplay their strategy, they underplay their value or their worth. And that is exactly why resume came into place, to be able to advise these guys, guide them, guide professionals of how can you actually show your true worth and shine like a diamond.
That's very true. That's very true because since we take a birth, our birth certificate shows our identity, though our resume shows to the our this the world what we are actually. So you are helping them to show their true self.
True
So
that.
that's very powerful. That's very good. So, Gunjan, next, coming to you, what specific problems in education is Techmatron trying to solve? In today's evaluation.
I think the biggest problem what we see in the industry in general, especially in in countries like India as well, is people educate themselves. But the real time experience is missing. What is going to come in the real job sense? Techmatron actually helps these individuals to, although it gives a value added qualification, but throughout the training or throughout the program, they're actually going to see what a person is going to get in general, a real time experience while they're going to be taking a job. But as well as these junctions they will face while they're training, they get an opportunity to work in an industry what they have chosen as well. So, along with the program, they might have done aeronautics or aerospace engineering, just for one example. They get an added value in the real time from Techmatron's part. A qualification again, which is recognized worldwide from Nikigong, which is CPD, which is worldwide. They get it. Second is they get this a program which is not a long-winded, lengthy process where 6 months to a year. It's maybe a subscription model, which we call it. It's lasting only for 2 months. An online model, which is 60 hours, and an offline, which is within 4 days.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's something which I'm involving students to call as a training programs where they're getting a chance to training exchange programs. So they come to Dubai for 3 or 4 days, meet other students from different parts of the world, and then they get a chance to even go out in Dubai for a day out and a networking session as well. So these things which were missing in the industry, I picked up with other colleagues of mine working. So then we can add this in to our business model.
Oh, great to hear that. So, coming to you, Pooja, when you started working with the students and professional, what were the most common, career mistakes you noticed?
So I saw people literally hiding job gaps.
Many.
So many. There were lies. They were literally filled with, oh my god, medical history, but not unemployment. Right? That is literally misinterpretation of information or hiding information, which is not supposed to be the case.
Correct.
Right? So that's the first idea. Second is always the mistake that they make is either they will overpower their strengths, they will play it way too much. And if someone is questioned, they're really wondering, oh my god, now what do I answer? Right? So if I say in terms of professional linguistics, or I talk about my language proficiencies, I may be at the basic of French, but I say, I'm an expert and I'm very good at it. I have business proficiency, and someone comes and talks to you in that language, you're just gonna be that's gonna be like
on the high side only they will say what they are.
Why do you want to overplay your strengths? Yeah, like merci beaucoup. That is how it would be, right? So I feel these are the basic ideologies of mistakes, and it's okay to have a job gap. It's okay to have unemployment. As a PS, it's a fact. I was unemployed for 11 months of my life, so I have been through that too. So I know how to play that.
So that's why people learn from our own these things. So.
Yeah, I think It's not even a mistake, it's a learning, right? So every
No, no,
time
obviously it's a learning. I mean, since you have gone through that phase, so you can.
I would try to avoid anyone wanting to jump into that pitfall. I'm like, don't jump, buddy, it's a kuwa or a kai, don't just come out of it.
Yeah.
Right, you're just going to go into a spiral downwards. When you put one lie, it's going to continue with the next set of lies, right?
That's true.
And then it becomes a chain until, you call up a reference and ask, listen, why was this person sick for 11 months? And the reference is shocked. Was this actually person? He was not sick. He was struggling to find a job.
In fact, the companies would think that the person who was sick for the 11 months, so what he's gonna do in our company then?
Yeah, like,
why
you
should
don't know
I
when
hire
is he going to take the next break. So yeah, I mean, that's how you underplay your strengths. I think these are some things which I feel should never be put up on the resume of, probably saying sick leave or, something. It's always okay to say you were unemployed.
I don't know if in the UK we have a such segment where people take breaks for a long time or more than a year. Say it's a travel break.
It's a sabbatical or
we
travel
also have, yeah, she's mentioned the correct. It's in India also we do have that. It's called sabbatical leave.
It's a sabbatical.
So they provide that. If you have the correct, all the medical history and reasons and appropriate reasons, everything, company will give you. Company waits for you for 1 year as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is how it is.
So yeah, next we are moving to the next part is your first model focus on professional resume designing and strategy.
Yes.
So what is the biggest misconception people have about resumes too?
Imagine I give you a 300-page storybook and ask you to read it in 7 seconds. That is what is a mistake.
The first one.
So the ideology of a resume, it's not a biography. You're not writing an autobiography of, oh my God, I'm Pooja Anandani and I'm a TEDx speaker and la 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 la. I'm giving stories.
Correct.
What is a resume? It's a snapshot. 7 seconds, and that is the attention span a recruiter has, right?
True.
I need my achievements, I need my impact, I need my roles and responsibilities, and I need my education, and I need my contact details. A, B, C, D, E, and you're done. You cannot keep putting in. Imagine I won maybe a competition when I was in 10th grade. I put it to use after 20 years of my life. Unwanted information.
Oh.
It's too much. It's TMI. I don't want that. So, right, the basic ideology of a resume or a CV is it shouldn't extend 2 pages.
Okay.
I was catering to a client with 40 years of work experience. He was the chief architect of the Burj Khalifa. His resume was an Excel sheet with 20 tabs inside of it.
My goodness.
I was like, sir, let's concise it. So that's what a resume misconception is. It's not a biography.
She did the architect work for
Architect work for
I architected.
the person who did the architect work for the Burj Khalifa, you have.
Yeah, I architected his resume. I gave it a nice design.
Nice. So, coming to the Gunjan, to you.
Yeah.
From an edtech perspective, how important is it for education platform to prepare students not just academically but also professionally?
It's very important, isn't it? Because if you think about it's not just about taking the money on the fees side and giving them a qualification. It's like preparing the person as a whole is very important. And generally people lack this, what has been seen. And one of the reasons why we have actually collaborated with Pooja as well is because we see the sense gap in students. Because I think many of us have been told what to do rather than reasoning out why we do it. And
that's very true.
yeah, and people follow people generally, and it comes as a culture. It comes unfortunately with a culture set with different backgrounds.
Correct.
The culture set what Techmatron wants to bring is to question why we do this. What are we getting out of this? What's the value coming out of this? I've always tried to figure out the 3 bits where people used to always say, what is your USP? USP. And many times I used to get very irritated with this word USP. Because USP, there's nothing as USP in life. You have to have, and they said, what is it that you give? I said, I actually thought about it. And we do 3 bits, which we thought carefully. And I brought out saying it's quality, we call it QSP, quality, service, and price. And if you have all the 3 bits into any product, which is in Pooja's vertical we work with, in our vertical we bring it, then that's many multiples of that actually bring many USPs. And any business to succeed we need to have multiple USPs to give to that product. And we have multiple features in helping these students. Ultimately, what we want to see is the student benefiting out of a pound that he pays, or a rupee he pays, or a dollar he pays. We want that benefit for everything what he has spent. And an organization like us, we value that pound to rupee or anything, so that he gets out so very clearly what is going to come out of this very good program he or she's learned.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so Pooja, like if someone had just like 30 seconds to make an impression through their resume, what were the elements must be absolutely vivid in that?
Imagine I tell you, I'm giving you 700 crores. What is that reaction in 30 seconds? In 7 seconds, you're like,
Yeah,
wow.
My eyes are wide open.
You're
Like,
blowing them out of your mind, right?
I'm just like
so that's
thinking.
the number impact. As simple as one line. The numbers you bring to the table.
Hmm.
It's as simple as an ROI, return on investment, right? I always give this an analogy to my clients and I say, you know what? A company is going to invest in you, you become their asset. What you give back to them is their return. If someone is paying you, they want a very good return. And a return cannot be just JD, it cannot be just responsibilities. You have to show numbers, you have to show values.
That's true.
And that is something that I truly believe is like the wow factor. If I'm doing a turnover of crores, I'm doing profit, I'm doing sales, I'm doing a cost saving. And that is exactly when the company knows that, you know what, you're my man. So that's when that wow factor has to come in.
That's correct. That's correct. In fact, like I was just thinking. I mean, Gunjan is like he's going to like do with this professional courses and everything, and you're helping the students in the resume building. So you're like collaboratively helping people to stand on their feet for the for their futures. Wherein in today's so many people are just like think 9 to 5 is just a job. We don't want to go into that. Wherein they don't think that 9 to 5 is not just a job, it is our own kind of business. If we'll do as you said, if we'll do as per our own this thing, if we'll do better, we'll definitely get fed better, right? That's good. Fine. So moving to the next part, your next program focus on LinkedIn profile makeover.
Yes.
Why do you believe LinkedIn has become one of the most powerful career tools today?
So, with COVID and the pandemic, I think everything became so global that we all got connected. There was literally, we transcended every border. Every country was transcending each other. And, people could connect from maybe a US to an Australia with just a click. And what was that click? It was LinkedIn. It takes 1 second to say connect. I want to add you to my network.
Yeah,
right?
And even ask for the permission of the next person. You are just
I think you just send people, you connect with people, you grow like that.
True.
So, initially how we had Facebook and it came in as a craze, right? Everyone wanted a Facebook account and you would actually have stories and nothing like posts. We didn't have stories, we used to have a lot of photographs and oh my god, it's my friend's birthday. I think the same goes for LinkedIn today. You just evolve. Today, if someone's getting a new job, the first place where they update it is LinkedIn, right? That's when you say, congratulations, mate, you got a good job and we wish you luck. And oh my god, you did a certification, I'm so proud of you, right? So LinkedIn has become a hub today. Did you know you need 500 accounts, 500 network connections minimum to be considered legitimate?
Is it?
Yeah. So that is how LinkedIn works. So I'm a certified LinkedIn makeover professional directly by LinkedIn. So for me, I would literally say that, jobs are more accessible today with LinkedIn. As per stats, 82% recruiters search LinkedIn first and then go to other platforms like maybe a Founded or a Shine or a Naukri.com or a Founded Gulf. Everyone in the world, because we've transcended every border, every goddamn country, right? LinkedIn is the easiest way. So today, if I'm sitting in India, I can apply for a job in Canada, and the recruiter will actually view my profile.
That's
Well, more than 1800.
That's a good one.
yeah.
Well, she's the one who didn't buy LinkedIn.
Yeah, she will tell which one should be
That's right.
Yeah.
She was the one who edited everything and all.
Oh my god, yes.
Right.
Okay, so Gunjan, I would like to ask, in the world of digital learning platforms, how important is online professional visibility for students and educators?
online visibility has become very important these days because I still remember someone telling me, if you want to his lines were this. He used to say, "Early to bed, early to rise.
Yes.
If you want to sell, advertise."
That's a
It didn't make any sense for me a long time. I said, well, your product should sell anything. That means you're so good in the market, it should sell itself. But every good product which is there in the market these days, right? Any good company which works, they have to advertise. They have to talk about it. And what we're slowly building in ourselves is with all these verticals which we have, one is engineering, we have, the second, which is the 14 programs in it, in engineering. Then we have a completely non-educated, which is a vocational program, which everybody does want to be an engineer. So we said, okay, we can think about hairstyling and photography. And that's big in Dubai and in England, and even kids now, even in the Gen Z crowd, who love to be photographers and they want to get into hairstyling. And that's what they want to do. And that's a big money for them. And it's a great career to be in.
Right.
And then we thought about in the South, there's a lot of people who want to speak about spoken English, which was very, very, very urban. Nobody wants to come out of that zone, but a lot of people want to learn that. So we want to tap into that market. And then ultimately, we had a major gap into our business where students are going to learn their programs and everything, and they get this. But then we have Pooja now backing us up, who's actually enhancing,
Right.
getting the CVs done, helping them to go from career to campus, from campus to career,
Exactly.
to corporates, how to apply for jobs, and how to be presentable during the interviews, and how to get their themselves visible. Right? So the diagnosis on our systems, visibility has become like the center forced, impactful thing in our business now. So we are going out to talk about this.
So just like Pooja, I would like to ask, like, what are the 3 most common mistakes people make on LinkedIn that prevent them from standing out?
I think for me, because when you look at you start with a LinkedIn, what comes in is your cover photo and then you have your profile photo.
Correct.
Imagine a profile photo having someone looking drunk. Oh, I'm not hiring you. I'm sorry, you look too drunk for my company. I would prefer my reputation than hiring you. I think the first ideology is, oh my god, your collar button is not shut, you're not professional. Right? The basic ideology is your first impression, and that's a photograph.
Right.
So the first is your cover photograph.
Right.
Secondly, when people don't, they underplay their skills. If you know that LinkedIn has a space where you can add 100 skills,
Yes.
whereas a resume you can only add 10 to 12 core competencies.
Yes.
Use that. Imagine I see only 12 or 13 skills on LinkedIn. I'm like, are you so untalented? That becomes my second. And third for me, I think is you should be very active. Imagine I see if you've posted something 2 years ago, or you liked something 8 months ago, you reposted something about 2.5 years ago. Your existence is question mark to me in my head. Are you even alive? Social media is the only way today that you can track what people are doing. And if you're not active on LinkedIn, I just feel you're not existing in the corporate space. I mean, LinkedIn is equivalent to corporates today. If you're not posting, you're not active, you're not kicking and you're not pushing, you're not existing. So it's that. So yeah, these would be the 3: the profile photo, the skills, and be regular in posting, I guess.
Correct. It's like how we are handling our social medias around Instagram, Facebook.
True. I think it's more like the Facebook is gone back.
True. So your interview preparation bootcamp is another key model.
Yeah.
What do you think interviewers are really evolving beyond qualifications?
So what does a qualification do? It gets you a call to the interview. What does your soft skill gets you the job?
Right.
Imagine I have so much of beautiful grandeur on my resume. I've scored the highest, I'm like the achiever, I'm a state ranker, and I work with top MNCs, and if I go to the interview and I can't even say hello. Imagine I'm like, So that would be the most disastrous thing I can imagine seeing in an interview, right? Because people overplay their skills, either they're overplaying their resume or they're underplaying it. So imagine if you go to an underplaying guy, you think he does not know anything. And if he speaks too much in an interview, you're too overqualified for the job, I don't want to hire you. And when you flip it around, if you overplayed your resume, you are very good with Excel, with VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and suddenly they give you a 1 lakh columns and rows sheet, and you don't even know how to press a control C or say, my proficiency in Excel is basic. You overplayed your strengths. I'm not hiring you for the next 6 months. That is what an interview preparation is so important for. I think the ideology of being able to present yourself just as you are, so that the recruiter has an idea that you're not faking anything, you're not procrastinating your own existence, you're not overplaying or underplaying your strengths or weaknesses. And that is what your mouth will have to do the job.
Correct.
So, being natural, isn't it?
Being natural, as in as we mentioned, it's in resume is our birth certificate.
Yeah.
Whatever mentioned over there, it's about so that's me only.
Yes.
If I mention something else, so that will be questionable. Definitely, what should I say? That's perfect. So, Gunjan, from your experience working with institution, do you feel students today are adequately prepared for real world interviews?
Well, it's very difficult for them to be prepared in the real world because the answer for this is the gap is between the mindset and how they want to be in a place. And in the real world, the life is very different. We expect is, unfortunately, every entrepreneur expects the guy or the girl whom they're taking it from day one to get go. And there is a gap. And hence, what we've seen is to bridge that gap between a skill which has been acquired and to the skill to be delivered. These are two different things. And somebody can be great in the knowledge, but when it comes to actually delivering a job, it's absolutely crap. And it happens. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just happened that they've not got enough experience on that plate, and the person doesn't have that mindset at the moment. So what Techmatron wants to do is actually help these kids, or help these individuals who join our programs that through an internship program. So in aeronautics, we have signed a contract with an amazing firm in Bangalore who actually students complete their course and then they go for aeronautical training. And then in India, in Bombay, as well, we sign contracts for civil engineering, facade engineering, where students complete that and then they get their internships. So in the internships, actually learn what actually really happens in the real time world.
Great. So Pooja, if someone is extremely talented but lacks confidence in interviews, what strategies can help them convince them?
So that is when I think the soft skills come into play, is when you learn to communicate effectively. Communication is normal. People will be able to speak. Effectively communicating is the key. That is the first ideology. And imagine someone who's so competent, who's so good at his academics and his work. It's like a car. But if you don't have the communication skills, your car doesn't have the fuel to travel.
True.
So a car without petrol or fuel or diesel is not going to go even a kilometer out. Where do you think you're going into a career trajectory? Right? You cannot.
It's not going to start at all.
You'll have to kickstart it. You'll give a dhakka. And it'll not move after that. It's just going to burn out. So imagine if you have to climb a career ladder, you have to be apt at your soft skills, your confidence issues. I mean, people have really bad confidence issues. They have stage fright, they don't know how to answer, they probably, would stumble and fumble when they're saying about themselves. So if I ask anyone today, tell me something about yourself beyond your resume. And they don't know what to say, they're stunned. I'm like, a resume does define you, but I'm sure you have more attributes and more talent or more competencies than 2 pieces of paper.
True.
And that is exactly when your communication is supposed to be there, and effective communication.
True. So you also teach compensation strategy and salary negotiations.
Yes.
Which is something many people never formally learn. Why do you think salary negotiation is such an uncomfortable topic for professionals?
Because they don't know their own worth. In a very simple line, if you don't know your own worth, people are going to treat you like a piece of trash. Or else you're going begging, asking for pocket money. Imagine we were kids, maybe in 8th and 9th and 10th, and we would wait every month or every fortnight pocket money. And we didn't have a chance to ask them, ki, Mama, give us little more, Papa, give us little more. They're just like, Jo dena hai, aap de do. Right? So it's the same with the recruiter. He's going to give you what he feels right. Until you put down your worth, you have to take a stand for yourself. If I say, okay, I'm ready to work because I just want to work with your company, that is exactly the time where a recruiter will pay you less and exploit you for more work.
Correct.
The work-life balance is already a miss. Okay?
True.
The ideology of not being able to even voice out what you want as a salary, that is not right on your part. At the end of interviews, an interviewer will always ask you, do you have any questions for us? And people downplay it. No, sir, we're all good. They just so downplay it. Use that.
आपने जो बोला क्या पास हो गया?
Sir, आप जो बोलोगे मैं हाँ में लाऊंगा. But that is not the ideology, right? You're supposed to show that, I want to know more.
Yeah.
If I'm joining some place, I need to know the history. I need to know what are we looking at. I need to know what is expected of me as a candidate, as an individual. And if I just go like, no sir, thank you. I don't think that's
Thank you, आपने मुझे इतना दे दिया.
आप जितना दोगे हम काम करने को ready है. But that is not the point. Today there are going to be 10,000 people competing with you.
True.
And people even work at salaries lower than you.
Yeah.
You have to take a stand for yourself.
Correct.
And even if the salary or compensation is very discomforting or a very uncomfortable topic, it's important.
Definitely. I mean, I'm going for the interview for the salary part only.
Exactly, it's like period.
Exactly.
I know when I began my first job, I was working with one of the big fours in the world, and I was working in a capacity of an internal auditor. And my friends got hired about 3 months before me. They started working in June, July, and I got my job in September. I know they started at a mere salary of less than 20,000 a month, and I waited. I waited for 3 months. I was like 90 days. Okay, let's wait. Let's wait 93 days. Okay, on the higher side. And I got a package of about 15% more hike than them when I joined. And that is why they asked me. I said, you know what? My friends are getting this much. I didn't join for a certain reason. I'm looking at more prospect. And I was vocal.
Correct.
And I bagged a good offer. So that is what salary negotiations and compensations are very, very crucial.
You understood why we took Pooja on board.
That's
So she
actually
helps these students.
because this is like more important. Like when we are like you are like telling the students about your courses and everything.
Yeah.
So the first question arises like every student asks for this.
Yes.
Like what I'm gonna get out of this.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying you like say $100, so what I'm gonna get, I get it from her.
Well, she gets Pooja along
Yeah,
with
so we can like you can
And
bring the Pooja and Pooja can say
And help
like
them.
you're
You know what? That's
Well,
the ROI, right?
Like
It comes from
I'll give you a
ROI.
real-time example. When I used to be, when I came out of student life in the UK, and I took a jobs, and when I was getting contractor jobs, and the first thing I used to look at the contractors, and I forget everything, all the details, and how many days a week you work and all that stuff. I used to look for the salary.
what number is mentioned in that?
What is coming out of it?
Is this right what we discussed in the GBP? And if it's not, because half the money is anyways, government is taking it.
And
So-
in that as well, we have to go to the like in a breakup panel as well.
That's
Like
it.
not the
What is variable? What is fixed? What is allowances? I'm like,
everything.
okay, I need more allowance for my phone bill, for my
Yes,
fuel.
And then the worst part in this, talking aside of the subject, is in the UK, even what is more is still less, because even if you make 100,000, which is 1 crore 23 lakhs,
Yes.
yeah, pound to a rupee. And then even after that, like I had guys who used to buy. I used to work with them. They make 100 and they make 30,000 pounds. And even after that, we would come to them. It's going to be 5 grand a month. 5 grand is no lot for that job, right? Because after the taxes and everything else. So yes, very important for these students when they learn a program, they have this a skill enhancement program to help them to get their first job. And that's where Pooja's role comes along.
Perfect.
To enhance.
Yes.
Yes. So the collaboration is going to be like
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Sure. So, Gunjan, do you think that institutions should include financial and career strategy education as a part of mainstream learning?
Absolutely. I think in general, means what is lacking in the it's very sad. It's in the government organizations itself, and we want to stretch that with different government bodies, and we want to tap it into slowly and help them we see that how the government can play a part in helping students who are really good to get them these benefits because we've seen that all over different parts of the world. UK does it, America does it, Europe does it for the students, and they give them government support for the students to bring the programs. Yeah, our programs are not as expensive, it's pocket friendly, but we want to see how governments can play a part as well. So good students, good educated students who are really doing well. What support can the government give as well? What banks can do for them? So these are steps which we are working on to help their financial numbers can play a part in their life. Unlike in the UK and America, again I'm saying this because we come from that background. We see that students when they complete program, and they go for their first job, that's where the government kicks off by saying, okay, I'm going to take a certain percentage called a student loan, right? It doesn't happen that in India yet, right?
No.
We don't see that, but the growing economy, what is happening in India, is just great. India is the third most growing economy in the world now, and I'm sure with the government what we have in the background, like Modi's government and everything that we have, we want to see that these governments are helping these students, and we will come there, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely, because right now also, I mean, government have come up with so many schemes for the students and this thing. So they are evolving in this as you mentioned, definitely. So it will. So Pooja, I'd like to ask, what is the single biggest mistake people make during salary negotiation?
Imagine you're standing out and you have a beggar with a bowl.
Jo
dena hai dena. That is the biggest mistake. If you have the strengths, you know you are competitive enough in comparison to the other candidates. You know the value that you're bringing on the table. Why are you ashamed of asking a value for that? That's it. Period. Ask. Put down your salaries. What are you looking for? And don't just give in to whatever you're going to give me, I'm going to accept.
I think I was talking about along with Pooja what she's saying. The challenge what people have these days is when they come out of a work experience or a qualification, they believe there is a competition which is very high, which is true. But also as well thought, it's very important. This has not happened with me, and I'm very fortunate and touch wood that I was not so badly affected when I was in the job market. I picked up saying that you create your own jobs. Means if you're good enough and you're doing well, people will recognize your work. Okay? But at the same time, these important questions about talking about in the interviews, being natural, asking these questions about, what is the company all about? What's the expected from me? Because anybody pays someone, there's an expectation of billings.
True.
And that is the things what unfortunately people lack that. But we want to educate these students. When they take a program, they come out with these experiences solidly, so they can actually get these good jobs coming in.
Yeah. So Pooja, I was coming to the next question is what is the single biggest mistake people make during salary negotiation?
The ideology behind a salary negotiation is to prove your worth, not accept anything that will devalue your existence. Right? So imagine you're going to probably the recruiter and you just go like, you know what, I just want to work with you. I'll work for free. Imagine you say muft. You're becoming the next Ekta Kapoor serial by saying free, give me whatever you want. But that is underplaying your strengths, and that's the biggest mistake that we make today. That you are very good at qualified, you had certifications, you have recognitions. Why aren't you ready to take a stand for your worth?
Instead of begging.
Forget the begging also, just to be able to take your own stand, right? I feel that, if you know that you can bring a change, you can bring in a revolution, you can bring in impact, you can bring in ideations, you can bring in a company to grow.
Correct.
What else does a company want? They will pay you. but not at their mercy. What you demand, because you are the one who's bringing that value to them.
Correct.
You have to own your own worth. Until you don't own your worth, you are not going to be able to get that. And I think that's the biggest mistake we find around.
Okay. So, like your executive leadership development program focuses on preparing leaders. What do you think separate a good manager from a truly great leader?
Or a good manager is someone who can get the work done. A good leader is someone who can get it all done together with the team.
Correct.
A leader is someone who does not just lead, I feel. He walks with the team. Whereas a manager is like, why isn't this done? Why haven't you done it? You're supposed to do it. If you're standing on someone's head with timelines and with a hammer,
Yes.
you're not gonna be able to lead. You're just dumping them into hating you.
Correct.
Imagine today people are frustrated with their managers. Why people drop in emails? Listen, I'm feeling sick. I have mental depression. I'm not coming for work. Why? Because the manager has not been a good leader.
True.
What is the only difference in a manager and a leader for me is a leader leads with the team. A manager pushes them into the goddamn well without giving them a float to come out.
Like, I think the contingencies there, but in conjunction with what Pooja was saying is, managers and leaders are the ones who have good emotional intelligence on subject matters, and even within the team, the strengths and their areas where they can work on. But when I was thinking about being a good leader, it's more about a leader is always thinking forward. There has to be one who has to think forward of the business, who has to go ahead. We never have something which is, I've never met a leader as well with an easy past.
True.
Yeah. All great leaders come with a very difficult past,
True.
very difficult experiences, and difficult personal life. And they all come with two important qualities. In my personal life, I picked up is they have great resilience. And second thing is they're amazing time boxes. And if they have these two qualities, if they know how to handle these two things, they can handle the team well to direct them to the destination. But along with the destination, when you're going, the journey matters, people matter, the stakeholders matter, and it has to be enjoyable. And so far, we're enjoying our company with Pooja.
True. As in, like, just before this podcast, we are like speaking. You spoke about Vaibhav. So you told me that you are not giving me any week off or anything. You told him not to sleep, just work. So what do you feel
Yeah. I think in our dictionary, but we have actually we laugh about all these things and we say it's just a couple of nights he doesn't have to sleep. But that's the fact of the matter. It means these guys who are leaders along with me, who are actually part of my team, we don't have this sense about what is time.
Right.
We just get it done.
Basically, because whatever the people who are working over it, they are working more than they're spending more hours than their house and everything. So obviously they need some good company and this thing.
Absolutely.
So if that's not happening. So
good company is not always JD and Co. But they need good people around you to have good laughs and learn from them as well.
True that.
Yeah. So as a founder yourself, what leadership lessons have you learned while building Techmatron?
That's actually a very good question because when I started this entire journey of the business, and I was completely raw, but I had an entrepreneurial mindset. But a lot of failures were there. Means, my own struggles were making sure I was always good on numbers and getting the job done. But I lacked, I think, one matter. I should really believe in people's talent more than people's personality. And that's what I figured. So I actually gave a lot of focus on people's talent. That this person is great, that person has great skill sets, but the personality actually dropped or faded with time. And it's like I don't want to use this expression, but it was like makeup. It comes out of time. But and I felt that time that I was lacking on maybe a and emotional intelligence on stakeholders, on my people. So I slowly started building myself on courage of getting the right people in. And once you have right people in on the board, you don't have to tell them. They own it.
True.
And then they tell you, listen, Gunjan, I've done this for the
True that.
And I like that because when I spoke to Pooja and when we bumped into each other into a program, and Pooja said, why me to be in this part of this team and what are you doing? But there are certain things I pick up long before in people's qualities, in resilience and people's behavior. I said, well, actually, this is great. We lack this in our business. And there's a depth in this business where this person will be useful here. Not as in a commercial way, but in a sense of actually what can be benefited from that person as a whole to public. Right? And maybe I set myself a bit different in that vision compared to many people. And second thing what I can just say is I feel that I've become good in this. When negatives are thrown and negative things are happening, and on with so many failures go, I'm very quick to get back into positive very fast, within seconds. Within seconds, I turn myself into say to myself, well, actually, that's past and move forward. And maybe because of I was a good player, good cricketer, I used to play well, I used to play football. And if you have to have this, if you're a good, in life in general, when negative things are thrown in front of you, if you are quick, coming out in seconds, that this is only a few seconds, and say, but that's okay. I'm not bad at what that person thinks.
Yeah.
I'm better than this. That's his perception or her perception, but I'm not that. And straight away, you're in a better frame of mind in dealing matters.
True that.
Yeah. So, Pooja, at what stage in a professional career should they start thinking about leadership development seriously?
Day one.
Day zero?
No, day one. The moment you enter your workspace for the first time ever. I believe consistency is key, right? The ideology behind growth. Growth is like building a muscle. You're going to the gym and you're lifting weights one day, you don't become a goddamn wrestler, right? You're going to keep growing that. You're going to build that muscle. That's why when a gym trainer says, "Aap chutti nahi le sakte," okay? Why will he say that? Because your body has to get used to it. Your mind has to shape to become a leader. Imagine if I tell you to get up and start becoming a leader to 10,000 people overnight. You will not be able to fit into those shoes until you have practice.
True.
You cannot fit into someone else's shoes anyway until you don't, you have to grow at your own path. And I feel day one is consistency is key, right? So the moment you enter your workspace for the first time, you should have an idol, have a mentor. Speak to them, ask them, okay, if I'm looking at a growth in the next 2 years and 3 years, that I want to lead a team like you, as great as you are. And that is exactly you need to start building. Imagine I give you all the ingredients, but I don't give you the recipe. You're not going anywhere. Your final product is I want to cook pasta. But I don't know how to make a sauce. I don't know what pasta am I to use, how many minutes am I to boil it for. Right?
Correct.
The ideology is to go step by step. First you probably cut the packet, remove the pasta, and then you decide on the sauce, decide on the ingredients, and then you decide on the seasoning, and that's when your final product will be out. It's the same thing. If you know that, listen, I want to be a good leader in the next 5 years, what are you starting from day one? I have to make sure I do something every single day. It can be either reading a book for just 10 minutes, read 10 pages in a day, follow some leaders, listen to some good TED Talks. Imagine in situations, create good scenarios in your head where if you were supposed to act in a certain way or, if you were supposed to manage a situation, how would you do? It starts at ground zero. You cannot reach elevator, you cannot reach up a flight of stairs without working out. You cannot run a marathon of 15 kilometers without having practice every day. Right? Imagine I ask someone who is not worked out, has not gone to a gym, hates walking. I tell him, bhai, teko 20 kilometers bhagna hai. He will fall down, he'll collapse in one. He'll sweat, he'll pant, he'll faint, and he'll collapse. It's an everyday process. So day one is the key.
Yes, perfect, perfect. So you also run a program called Leading High Performance Teams at Scale.
Yes.
So what are the key ingredients of a truly high professionals team?
Oh, again, imagine this. There are 5 people sitting on a table, and each of us has a difference in ideology. If I ask you, what do you want to eat for dinner? You
Definitely, I would say like something.
Okay, just tell me, what do you want to eat for dinner?
I would go with some like basil soup and
Okay.
some like rice.
Let's do
and
basil soup.
splendid.
What would you have for dinner?
Tonight,
Yeah?
chicken curry.
Chicken
That's
curry.
chicken curry. I want maybe fried rice.
Okay.
Now, where is the coordination? If we three have to sit together on one dining table, how are we doing this, right? So, coordination is the most
Yes.
important thing.
Definitely.
Secondly, the ideology of ego. Ego will only lead to a downfall. No team can grow, can move forward with ego. It's like imagine 3 tires of a car are working and the fourth is punctured. It rips apart. I don't want to work with you guys. And the car is stalled. It cannot move forward. Because that is the ego. It's going to kill everyone down. Either it's the manager or someone even younger. Maybe imagine a team member who's got more experience than the manager, but is at a designation lower. Why should I take orders from someone who's younger to me? I don't want to work. What's going to happen? Collapse. That's the second thing. And finally, the third ideology is the vision to look forward. Imagine if you treat a company as an outsider. I'm just getting a salary. What am I supposed to do? It's okay, they'll look into it, right?
That's not nice.
Where is it working? As a team, your vision together. What do I want to achieve in 2030? What do I want to achieve in the next quarter? What I want to achieve in the next fortnight? It has to be alignment. To the vision and alignment, your communication skills, that is, you all have to be together in unison, and finally letting go of ego. Those are the 3 crucial factors for any team to progress.
Perfect. Very nice. So Gunjan, from your experience building Techmatron, what does it take to build a team that shares the same vision and energy as the founder?
Yeah, so this is another important question. Interesting as well, because as a visionary and a company whom you're building, I picked up that you don't give the vision to your people if you're not living and breathing it day in, day out. It just happens with me that Techmatron is in my blood. The company is in my blood. I think about it maybe
All the time.
all the time, yeah. And nobody has to tell me that are you putting this many hours or this many hours. It's automatically being generated that you're going to go for. But I think as a person within the team, the one sense stress what I've always given to people, the key guys who work with me within the team as well, the core fundamentals of our business partners who are there, they have learned, I think, along with me is when they get a task or they get a job which has to be done, they just do it very well. They don't come back with the questions. They don't come back with how to do it, what to do. They even the most menial tasks, if they get it, they do it exceptionally well to make sure that it's being contributed for the business. And in our business, actually, all of them are not come back with the great work experience, but they're great entrepreneurs themselves. And that's what is important for me because entrepreneurs' life is very challenging. It's not a life for everyone. I always say it's a very difficult life if anybody takes an entrepreneur because there are no day off. Family keeps crying about it all the time. When are you going to give us some time? Phone call keeps coming 7 days a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you have to pay the bills, rent, everything, and then you have to also manage your team as well. So the vision for what I've driven in this vision is very clear that we want people who are in our business. They actually they think that they have a stake in that business. So unless you don't give that stake to a person, to get that stake, they are brought in because of some personalities and skill sets. But then they've been given that stake to own it and then go ahead with it, right? And they deliver it because they feel they're part of it. Yeah. And nobody, anytime when we have arguments in our business, right, in our vision, what we're doing is the ultimate goal is protect control. It's not me. It's not FD, the financial director, or governance, which Viber looks after. It's how Techmatron is going to succeed in this. And so we challenge each other on the basis of that. And that can come from anyone, from Ireland. We kept it so open, pure in discussions to make sure that the business succeeds, not our egos.
Well said.
What Pooja said.
Well said.
Right. So, Pooja, why do some teams with highly talented individuals still fail to perform collectively?
Again, as we said, he just answered it. It's collective consciousness or unison, collectively growing forward. It's like imagine you're running a marathon, but someone is standing at the start line, someone is already 100 meters away, someone is 50 meters away. They're not going to be aligned together, right? Someone will reach at a faster speed because he wants to finish work. Someone is really tired and dizzy, listen, I want to go home, right? They're not in alignment, they're not in unison. The ideology behind teams, if you say collectively, if teams have to work, they have to have the same vision. Like today, when we say that everyone at Techmatrons has their own opinion into every aspect, right? It makes them feel like their own company. If I treat anything like my own, it's like my baby, my brainchild. If I want it to grow, I have to be in unison with everyone else. I have to be in alignment with everyone else. Our thoughts have to be so aligned that even if there are issues and there are fights, there are problems, we do have the power and the potential to surpass them. And I feel that is when it happens, when you consider a company to be your own. You're not just receiving a salary out of it. Right?
True.
You're not just receiving a salary. You're giving your heart, your sweat, your blood, everything you've got, every ounce of what you've got, you're giving it into that baby. It is going to grow, but everyone has to have the same mindset. If I expect me to have one vision, if I was like, okay, you know what, let's do this work in 10 hours, and someone is so tired and lazy, I can't do it in 3 weeks. Where are we landing up? Right? So imagine that. So that's when the first thing is the mindset. And the second is taking ownership. So taking ownership that this company is mine also. Not just I'm a salaried employee.
Correct.
So I think that's what matters the most.
So now let's talk about something exciting. Obviously the partnership. So, so how did you and Gunjan meet? And how this went ahead?
I think we ended up meeting at a conference which was more like empowering the youth. And I think that's what Techmatrons comes from, and that's what I personally, my company believes, Resume believes into. And the vision is to empower youth, and that is where we met. I mean, after the whole conference, we ended up having a chat. And we saw how aligned we are in terms of the ideations we have for the future, the ideologies that we want to imply, the kind of programs that we want to, give everyone, equip people with. The ideation behind even, it's not about earning the money, but it's about creating the value. It's about empowering people. It's about helping them grow.
True.
And that just got in an instant.
Yeah, what I really like about Pooja's means, although it's our part of the vertical and we work very closely with Pooja now, I see no one in this day and age, right? They take a program or a course, and then at the end of the day say, I wasted my time. Right? Somebody learns something. Like we were giving an example of making spaghetti or something. But even somebody learns to make spaghetti these days, and so actually I learned how to make spaghetti. The oil is needed, the salt is needed, all the stuff is there.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, these programs are made in such a way which are, although it's cost effective, the qualifications and everything, what we saw was the lack of, the empowerment, lack of that energy which students need after they complete the program.
Right.
The lack of internship programs which are there set in place for such short programs which are not. And Pooja's energy itself is really good. She's very vibrant, and that can rub on people. We see that as a business as a whole, it's given that extra energy for us that we are doing something very productive, students are going to learn from this. And that's why we have collaborated with each other to move forward.
Definitely, definitely. I can see the collaboration. I mean, obviously, when as a layman, like, if I'm going for enroll in your courses, so definitely the first question would be like, what I'm going to get out of it.
Absolutely.
So here's the resume, like Pooja's part comes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really nice. Yeah. So Gunjan, at what point did you realize that Techmatron and resume can collaborate? That you have already answered how you people meet, but I just need that hinge when it happened.
Yes, but I was because of this work life, what was happening with me coming back to India and then working and doing these programs, and then in Dubai we were incorporating the company. One of the things what I really picked up a long time ago was students can do these programs, they can come out of this, and we can stamp it by saying, oh, this is British accreditation, worldwide recognized. All that is great. They get an internship as well. But the real essence of a student coming, of going for an intern, preparing for that, making his CV, building up his LinkedIn profiles, helping him to go to an interview sessions as well, how he can do all that, from campus to corporate, these programs, right? Even corporate programs that are there. I saw there was a gap, right? And these are icing on the cake anyways for these students when they join us and they work with. And I didn't see this happening in many of our competitors there in present, who could give so much value for a student coming out from the program. And I said, well, why not we have this tool to bring those 3 bits, quality, service, and pricing, QSPs.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's something new, like as we were discussing. It is called like a service after product. Like, I mean, it's not only you're selling the you're asking them to do a enrollment for the courses, take your certification and go out.
That's it. That's right. Yeah.
So you are also guiding them how you can use the certification and where you can do or utilize. That's fabulous. So Pooja, what makes you think that Techmatron would be the right strategic partner for your resume?
I feel that the first time I interacted with Gunjan, there was something very specific about him, which was like, oh my god, this guy is crazy. But in the good way, for sure. The ideology behind it, the way he pushed himself beyond normal limits. I see entrepreneurs, I speak to so many of them, and I see founders, and I speak to so many in a founder's circle, where they're like, you know what, my team works, I work, and we're done. And I see Gunjan round the clock. He's working at 3 in the morning, and 4 in the afternoon, and 11 in the night. I'm like, oh my god, does this guy take a break? No. He doesn't have an hour off for himself, I feel. And that is something which today founders really, really lack.
Yes.
And I feel the vision that he has, when we spoke about the vision of Resume and the vision of Techmatron and how we could really, really intersect and work together. I think that was the cherry on the top. We knew that, it was such a synchronization of ideas, of thoughts, and of vision that we didn't have any other diversions. We were just like, oh, you know what, that's the final goal point. It's like 2 people who are coming from 2 different sections and they're coming down to the final T point. That is the intersection. And from there it becomes a linear line. So that's what we came in together, we stopped, we collaborated, and now we're going to head forward.
When you say it's crazy, it's crazy. I myself say sometimes I'm crazy as well. I mean, you have to be a bit crazy to get what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's very well said. I mean, you have to be.
And I said, to myself, that I met amazing people in my life. There was always, I used to say, there's this downside about it, and I used to say, but they were brilliant. They were fantastic in what they did. They were absolutely phenomenal, as I say, in the work ethics they had. But as I said, for a person like us, like founders, right? When you start with a business, there's so much of noise going on.
Yeah.
It has to be done. This has to be done. That has to be done. And my role in the business, along with governance, which Vaibhav does, Rati, every day she does. And then we have the CTU, where who looks after the entire technological side of website, graphics, and everything else. And when we were involving Pooja in this bit, there's a lot of noise happens. What to do? So my job is ultimately making sure there's more clarity and make it more easy. and genuinely give the people the credibility of the work that they're putting in there, and giving them the pride for the little things that they do, right, for business. And for me, there's nothing as I just see. There's no as mindset. I don't have a mindset where it's a failure. I just see myself like, just get it done. Get things moving forward, right? Pooja's seen that.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so like how does Techmatron ensure its technology remains user friendly for teachers and students?
I think the different platforms what we use, the LMS platform, and then these are very user friendly anyways, which are not so complicated. We use our subscription models as well, which we have brought in place. The technology is definitely high level technology which we want to bring in, and we're using the latest technology. With programs like Sketch and everything else which is there in place. And these are used into aeronautics and aerospace. The idea behind all of this is to keep it simple, so it's not too complicated ultimately. Because some of the programs are only for 4 days, and the tutors who are actually training the students, means third year or fourth year of the students, most of the students have some information about it. But giving them the real time education is more important. So we work on that to give to them on those modules. So when they come out of that program along with the engineering or whatever, they can get an extra qualification of the real time work. So our technology is what we are using is actually real time work technology you see in even the softwares what we use in CAD or in civil engineering. These are latest ones which are there happening in the market.
Okay.
So that's what has been given. Not a bookworm, like not a bookish information. Something
Understood, like how the Indian, education system is going on right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's not that. You are just giving as specific as like what they are required, and that's it.
That's it.
Great to hear about that. So, like Pooja, how do you see AI changing the people career building?
We'll have to just pause and
Can you pause?
let them just come and see it. They just want to have a look at the space.
We spoke about AI.
AI,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence.
Great.
How many more questions we have?
Oh, can you just tell us how many more questions there are? Just
This is like
few last sheet.
That's it.
last sheet only.
Actually, yeah. Good.
Only 3, 4.
Yeah, go for it. It's not a time section. No.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you. Yeah. You can go ahead with that. Can we start? Good.
Okay. So Pooja, like how do you see AI is changing the way people build career?
Initially, it became a rat race. Everyone was chasing AI. But they forgot that AI has its own limitations. AI cannot write who you are. You can put in prompts, create me a resume which is ATS friendly, and you can put in all the possible prompts in the world. But the AI doesn't know who you are individually, what you are deep inside, and what is it that you want to really highlight outside. So today, if I tell maybe an AI tool to create me a resume without telling it anything about me, I'd probably give it a prompt. I've been working, I'm a finance professional, and I've done this. But what about probably me being a TEDx speaker? What about me being felicitated by the government of Maharashtra? Or maybe a couple of other things which I'm waiting to be able to tell the recruiter, right? I want to highlight, I want to put down my best foot forward, and AI will limit me. What happens is, again, today, a person with 5 years of work experience and a person with 20 years of work experience, both of them have AI driven resumes. It is making them at equal par. Imagine a man with 20 years of work experience has as bare minimum capacity as that of a 5-year-old experience, like a 5-year work ex. It overplays younger strengths and it underplays the above. Today, imagine a vice president and an analyst at the same designation. That's what AI does. It downplays you. It drops your worth.
So that means you want to say like in today's people when they want to grow up with their career, so AI is like AI is going to help them or like for this.
AI can help you in a certain manner. You cannot rely on it completely. So I can understand of, probably giving me synonyms of a word. If I say, okay, give me a synonym of achieved, I cannot tell it to, listen, write me something and make me look larger than life. In the long run, AI is going to exist, but the point is, AI is created out of the human brain.
True.
If you're giving a candy to a kid, he will only focus on the candy, which is the AI. He'll forget the dental problems that he's going to have later. The same way is later, when AI literally has a crumble, because today we're 8 billion people in the world. Everyone is using AI. Imagine the day that AI collapses. Where is your brain? It's not going to exist. The brain is as small as a pea. Mutter. AI has made it half. The brain has stopped braining, guys.
True, because
I literally say this to people. The brain has stopped braining. And to train that, you have to keep pushing yourself, not by getting pushed by the AI. So,
So Gunjan, what is your long-term vision for Techmatron over the next 5 to 10 years?
The vision is to give every student an education who actually deserves and entitled for it. So the vision is to be in places, most remotest places in world, and give that qualification for those students. So we work, as I said, our ultimate ethos behind it is has to be cost effective, pocket friendly. Quality has to be great. Service has to be fantastic. And all this comes with being and talking to various organizations, various companies which we are dealing with, and helping them to see that what is the value we're bringing out from our product. And I think the ultimate goal from as a very long term perspective, which I keep mainly only sometimes I only talk to myself here. They say more than 5 years I ask myself within a year, within a month, within a week. What was last week to me? It's going in a very good speed. It's very hard sometimes to keep up with the speed with the team, what they're thinking, what I am thinking. So it goes like a storm. Thinking so ahead that I want to them as well to catch up with it, and it becomes an irrational factor that it is not going to be possible. But the long-term vision is ultimately every student, every child, every person, every school should have this additional factors of AI training, maybe to begin with. And we're thinking about all those things in schools, and this is within the 10th standard grade within India as well, where they can have generative AI because it becomes a part of their life. And that is the main ultimate goal. Means using our modules of every vertical, which is recognized worldwide as well. So we're coming to that state with all our verticals coming to, which CPD is already with our relationship what we have with them. They're accepting all our verticals to be worldwide recognized, which is fantastic. So every student who gets this from us, he gets that benefit, a benchmark on a career path that he's educated from Techmatron, something in his life. And that's what I value, what I would bring.
So you think that your courses will be different from the educational system right now which we are having.
Absolutely.
Which will be enhance the students capability to go into those programs.
Yes.
Perfect. So for both of you and I would like to ask with this partnership what kind of impact do you hope to create together in the next 10 years, say down?
Yes.
10 years, huh?
10 years.
We're looking at it faster.
Yeah.
I guess we're looking at it in the next 6 months to
6
start
months.
creating impact. I think long run is beautiful, but the ideation is to be able to impact as many lives as we can at the earliest. and empower them with the correct tools in terms of the programs, the courses that we're offering, or even give them guidances which is above and beyond the courses. You know, we are as a company at Techmatrons in that resume, and I believe that creating value or empowering people is going to be the only way forward. And I think that's what we're looking at doing.
Yeah, and like every person these days, right? You meet any person these days who want to, who's in a career path, even to a receptionist, even to a person who's actually doing the most menial work, will want to see you to meet with.
Yeah.
At one point, will like to go for an interview, right? He or she may want to do an AI course. He or she may want to just maybe a hairstylist, right? Or photography. Yeah? These things are day to day. Yeah? People like to be dressing up well, which is a most important factor. You know, so why not come to us? There's a gap there. We can help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the bridge.
And then there's another gap which we were thinking about having a gap. And English is, although in India Hindi is very important, but as well as the important language in the world is English.
Yep.
So people know English, but then there is a gap where spoken English is. So how can we help? Yeah. My own thought was the impact, as you said, the impacts are created in any business. When you work like a doctor, they need to know what the problem is, what they don't have, and what they want. So give them that, right? You give them an impact by actually telling them, okay, you don't have this, come to me. I'll give you this
Happy.
with quality, with service and pricing.
Perfect. So, like, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs building impactful tech startups?
I'll tell them not to come. I'll definitely not tell them. But on jokes apart, if I give them, well, almost more tech competitors are there, we are actually challenged to do better, right? We always kept an edge. The EdTech, it's a very fast process life. It's as fast as within a blink of an eye. Yes, somebody's better than you, right? And always, this makes me really humbled all the time with whatever I've done in my life, with the team and everything. I always feel very humbled that there's always something better than you. Somebody is better than you. And that is true, even in knowledge and experience and things. But as great entrepreneurs, I think my advice would be to have good stakeholders with it, good people working with them. That will make their life a lot easier. Otherwise, you'll be pulling your hair all the way off. And there will be a lot of argument battles and you'll be wasting and burning your energy there. And we had those situations in our business as well. And very soon I picked up that those things have to go. We can't burn our energy into wrong places. And but our partners whom I work with, collaborative partners and the partners who are working with, they're actually brave guys. They have one or two very outstanding qualities: courage, resilience, and good leadership. And that if that is there, you can be a very good entrepreneur.
Nice. Great. So, Pooja, what advice would you give to young professionals who want to build meaningful and fulfilling career?
The one quote I like or I resonate with is from the movie Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
True.
It's like etched in my memory forever. So I believe for great professionals, it is the responsibility to be good at whatever you're doing. For people who are at higher positions, they have that great power. They can be either a manager or a leader.
Right.
What are they responsible to? Right? So for anyone who's entering into the career space, who's already transcending from one role to the other, or who's established as an executive leader today, you have the power invested in you. How are you using it responsibly? Not by hiding your job gaps, not by faking sicknesses, not by faking your qualities, not by underplaying your worth, not by keeping quiet and saying, okay, you know what, jo salary deni hai, de do. Be responsible of your own life. Take action. And I think action is the only thing that you need to take. So, with great power that is invested in you comes the great responsibility. And responsibility will only be fulfilled if you take action.
True.
It bottoms down to action. So, don't hesitate in doing that. Keep moving forward. And that's how it is.
Perfectly well said. Until and unless I'm not gonna pick up this glass, I'm not gonna drink the water.
True that.
It's lovely like hearing you both of you and
Thank you.
having you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja, for having us here. And Pooja, thank you very much for
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for having us here today.
It's lovely
Great.
conversation. It's
Thank
really
you.
a meaningful. It's we
Yeah.
really had a lot. Yeah,
Thank
we learned a
you.
lot.
Okay, it's brilliant. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.